Alright, man, I could go to the gym. Like, I feel my face looks like, oh, I'm gonna go to the, I can just go for a run, you know? Now, this is pretty funny because I was watching Coin Bureau. It's very professional and you can see they're, I don't know if they're paid for actors, but they got some background going on, and now they got a new nice lady presenter, which is, she's kind of cool, you know, looks nice, etc. But the funniest thing is when they cover the Korean degens. Now, being Korean myself, I really wish I could speak Korean because I just didn't learn it growing up. I guess focused on English, and for whatever reason, um, just didn't pick it up. Now, that being said, it's funny because we see there is a large portion of people in South Korea that are interested in cryptocurrency. Myself, kind of being one. I don't know. Maybe it's just in my bloodline. But have a look at this. We'll play this through. This is kind of funny. I'm not sure if the audio will pick this up, but I'll fix that. Hence the name. Also, was it Gyopo Crypto? But yeah, I don't know. Probably butchered that. Like the maddest DJ shit. So the first thing I did
Now
after
you don't have
learning
to
this
speak Korean to fix.
was going to that particular website called Upbit. I think it's Upbit. Now, for whatever reason, they do not have Hex, PulseX, INC, or Pulse Chain listed. I'm like, how does this, the largest exchange in South Korea, Upbit, I'm calling you out, how come we do not have not even Pulse Chain? Like, okay, maybe nowhere else wants to list Hex yet. Nowhere else wants to list PulseX yet, but not even an L1. You don't even want to list this. Well, you know, you're gonna let South Korea down, man. You're gonna let me like have more Hex and Pulse Chain than you guys as an exchange. Like, that's gonna suck, right? You can't have that. You need to include Pulse Chain. And I'm gonna add subtitles to this, you know. And you can see here my Lamborghini headlight. I couldn't afford a Lambo, but I got the headlight, you know. It's not quite. So moving on, yeah. So Gaipo is like I would be Gaipo, I would say, pretty heavily. Then this Gaipo is pointing out to the rest of the world. He's also a loon bird. That things like Hex, INC, PulseX, maybe could give you generational wealth if you are able to understand how to use it, because it's not going to, for instance, give you a 10,000x overnight, 1,000x overnight. You can leverage it long and short. However, I don't think there is a lot of people doing that. And I don't think a lot of people are doing it and becoming insanely rich off of doing it. Hey, I could be wrong. What you could do is learn how to use Hex, you know, stake it for long terms, which is probably kind of difficult for people who are struggling with money to be able to, you know, wait for that longer term period. Now, because if you want to be rich instantly, then yeah, you're gonna have money to start off with for it to be worth your while. If you're starting off with small amounts, you want to grow it, this is the perfect tool. It's like fertile soil, if you ask me. You inject, you plant your dirty old fiat, well, it's the seed, you buy some seeds, whether that be Hex, PulseX, you become a farmer, you know. You either mine T-shares or you become a farmer. That's some pretty good options if you ask me. Now, on X itself, I thought this was interesting. We saw someone exit, I don't know, and we saw a large T-share payout. So that's very good if you are, it's on the E side as well, Ethereum side. So if you are, you know, mining, as you told the contract you might do, you would have got a pretty decent payout. Per T-share, you got 19 Hex. Imagine if one day they become, you know, $1 worth per Hex, you know, in the distant future. That would be like $19 per T-share. Now, T-shares are they finite? Not sure if they're infinite, but they're ever reducing. So eventually it'll be the battle for the B shares. Now, once that ensues, a lot of people might be a bit upset as to how much they'll actually cost to enter in, assuming the price of Hex itself isn't like 6 zeros and a 1. or 6 zeros and a 3. I think Hedron's about that level now. Well, it's not the COM level, which is like 10 zeros or something. Even if it was, at the rate of inflation, the rate of it being minted, scarcities, etc., it still might be profitable. I'm not saying it's going to those levels. I'm saying if, for instance, you have Hex and you hold it over time, T-shares become more scarce. And if you stake it and you burn it and you mint it, good things happen, to those who actually said they'll do what they will do. Now, what else? I'm pretty sure this one is going live. I'll just double check. Next one, it's an easy dig at, for instance, AVAX. I think that went down. The funniest one is operational error causes Fed payment system to crash. So if you had an entire network set up, like on a not a CBDC, but a Fed payment system, which could be arguably the precursor to something like a CBDC, and that crashes, then what happens to your network? Oh, it goes down and you can't make payments and you can't do anything. Now, we've seen this when the power goes down and you can't use ATM if you haven't got any physical cash, or if you haven't got any backup wireless internets. If your AT&T carriers go down, for instance, that kind of sucks. But all in all, yeah, Pulse Chain greater than Fed payment system. Upbit is this particular exchange. So if you know anyone in South Korea and they're into cryptocurrency, maybe, just maybe, point this out to them. Ask them, if you ask this particular exchange why it is that, they don't list it. Maybe they don't know about it. I'm not sure. But it's really cool. Like, when you meet people, they're actually South Korean and different culturally, kind of, I don't know, language barrier to yourself. But it's really cool meeting them. And yeah, if I didn't have a girlfriend, man, I'm telling you, some of the Korean women are very attractive. Very, very attractive. They're like, yeah. So the South Korean guys, I think they're very lucky. Now, if you ask me, Hex, Pulse Chain is the equivalent of a very attractive woman. Why? And you're a man, obviously, or you're female and you like other women. Why would you not want to, research about it, date it? I don't know. Like, Upbit, what are you doing? Why are you not covering, listing Hex, PulseX, Pulse Chain? Well, it's a centralized exchange, so maybe I can understand why they don't want to list PulseX, because they don't want to draw all of their, vampire attack all of their user base. I think they're primarily retail. So if you are in the business of providing a centralized exchange, maybe it's not in your best interest to then promote things which are decentralized. I can imagine, though, if just a small fraction of the Upbit users were to discover something like PulseX and understood how to use it, and I'm sure people would be able to pick up quite quickly how to use it. My concern would be they would probably come in like anyone would, like a locust, and try and harvest all the yield, like we've previously seen in previous farms. However, the structure is slightly different, I would say, with PulseX. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. That would be one negative, but the positive would be if people were doing that, they would be hearing about Pulse. Maybe they're in their own validators. Maybe they're gonna buy some Hex. Maybe that drives the price up. Maybe that drives the price of everything up in tandem. And then maybe they are actually yield farming on that platform, and then the price of INC is going up. I think it's been called leverage on Pulse Chain, PulseX even. So it's gonna be interesting as this space develops. Things develop and it becomes more well known across the world. You might see that Korean premium come into play. It happened, I think, before in Bitcoin, where it was like you could buy UTC at a hugely inflated discounted price relative to some of the South Korean markets. I have no idea why. Because they love crypto, which is cool. So this one kind of boring stuff. Price crashes, almost 10 million AVAX tokens flood the market in Cliff Unlock. Because people kind of, maybe they lost faith in their particular L1, which failed. So hopefully people lose faith into something like a Fed payment system, because I don't think that has any place in a free and open society. But powers that be, maybe they disagree. So in closing, people are either trying to attract the South Korean market to cryptocurrency, hint hint, or or they're just generally covering because they find it fascinating. Also, be careful of Google Ads. Say you type in something like "what is post-chain hex," and you go to Google Ads. It's a very old technique where scammers, put up fake ads, and you click on the ad thinking that you're clicking on the legitimate thing, and you're not. So it's always best to practice safe operational practices. What else? Huge payout. Fed payment system crash. Mega low. Upbit. Come on, Upbit. List post chain. Why are you listing post chain? And that is about it. So again, if you are interested in learning about, I don't even know where to direct people. GoPulse.com may be a good place, or simply postchain.com. Maybe put links below. I don't know if I translate them to South Korean or not, because I'm not sure how far this channel is actually reaching out. But yeah, that's about it. All right. Free speech, Sanya, but